Hey, how's it going? In this video, I want to talk about 6 degrees of separation and what that is. 6 degrees of separation is a concept that suggests that any two people in the world are connected by, at most, a chain of 6 acquaintances. In other words, you and I might be connected throughout the network of mutual acquaintances, even if we don't know each other directly. The concept was popularized by a play written by John Guare in 1990s, which was later turned into the movie 1993. However, the idea of interconnectedness and the small world phenomenon has been explored in various fields, including sociology, psychology, and network theory. The concept is often associated with an idea of social network and interconnectedness, nature of human relationships. With the rise of social media and online network platforms, it became even easier to observe and analyze those connections. It's important to note that while the concept is intriguing and can be true in some cases, it's not a strict rule that applies universally. The number of degrees of separation can vary widely based on factors like geography, culture, and personal network. Some studies have suggested that actual average number of intermediaries between people might be smaller than 6 in certain contexts, but in not a fixed or guaranteed value for all situations. My own personal thoughts on overall principle that would mean 6 degrees of separation. So that means from myself and someone like King of United Kingdom would be 6 people that I need to get to know for me to introduce me to him. That doesn't mean that I haven't sent an email to his staff to perhaps schedule a conference call with him. That doesn't mean that, but overall, that means if how many people need to get to know me, being interested in getting to know him as a person, perhaps, and what he does. Well, that would be interesting, perhaps, conversation to have. That means there would be, since I'm currently in UK, so it's one of those things. Perhaps there would be only 3 degrees of separation. Perhaps that would be myself. There would be his staff in the middle and him. So there would be perhaps a smaller distance to cover comparing to someone perhaps farther away. But overall, with the rise of social media and different platforms, intermedia can be just perhaps only that platform in the middle and the separating for you from actually reaching out to that person. But to most part, that's my personal belief that you might wanna meet someone from that particular person's circle first. Once you met with that person can introduce you to a person that you want to meet. If this concept was popularized back in perhaps 25 years ago or so, just under 25 years. Now things are changing and it's a lot easier perhaps to meet person that you want to meet. For some of you, might be interested thought experiment how you can think about this kind of things. Overall, building perhaps your social network. There are completely different subjects. There is the limitations of how big your network can be and how you might be able to manage a network. It can be up to perhaps 150, 200 people. I'll touch on that a little bit later, but overall, and if it's gonna be about 200 people, just under 200 people, how you're gonna build your network and how you're gonna manage your network. Some of the things to think about, and what kind of people would you like to have in your network. Overall, global connectiveness. So that would be if you have your own business, perhaps what kind of people would you like to reach out to you globally, not necessarily domestically, and perhaps get interested in perhaps products or services that you offer, how you can solve some problems for those people, and how you can work together. Communication and influence. If it's as I mentioned to you before, myself, I'm not that interested in communication. It's something I have to do. So that's who I am, I guess. Overall communication and influence, it's a part of running a business, something that you have to do. Bother, to the most part, bother a lot of people, I guess, and see how you can work together, what problems they do have, and how you can solve some of the problems for those people, and how you can positively affect perhaps others in their day-to-day life. Empathy and understanding, that's just a social skills, I guess. Recognizing the potential connection between seamlessly distanced individuals, and overall, you can't, I guess, if you just starting, just starting out networking, you might be just bothering a lot of people. But overall, for someone who's networking for a lot of time, I can tell for someone who does, and they're networking completely different, just from my personal experience. Collaboration and innovation, so that would be perhaps with some other objectives that you would try to achieve. Collaborate, perhaps achieve similar goals, so some of the pain points that you would like to resolve for that particular person, or if not that particular person, for why would you like to meet other person, and that person can help you to meet that person. Online social platforms is a good tool if you never used it. Perhaps you can try using some of those platforms. I mean, you could definitely try it. It's just once you try it, don't feel very discouraged, I guess. Whatever might work for you. Overall, world. I guess just to summarize the point, the world is a lot smaller than anyone can think, I guess. And there are a lot of people in the world, and it's a lot smaller, and it's getting, I guess, smaller for how fast information can move. Just some of those things that you could potentially take on board for perhaps if you are interested in meeting in person with you like, perhaps it's a lot easier than you might think to do that, but it might require some time and perhaps creativity. I have published a book. The name of the book is Game Strategy for anyone who is interested. I'm sharing a lot of concepts within the book. I'm trying to break it down. Process of starting your own business and what that can be for a lot of people, as well as making a lot of statements within the book of where the world is right now and where it's going and where the world is going to be in the future, at least 5-10 years from now. For anyone who is interested, feel free to perhaps go in the description or reach out to me if you like to receive a signed copy for 100 people. I'll send a signed copy of my book, as well as you can find this book on my company's website. I have put a lot of work in the book, and I would like for this for as many people to read it as possible. Thank you. Just to summarize this point, that would be where just not that long ago, 30 years ago, 1990s, this concept was introduced to the world, 6 degrees of separation, and what it would be like meeting people back then, around 30 years ago, yeah. And today, with the rise of technology, social media, and ways of you, perhaps if you are interested, reaching out to people that can perhaps support you, help you, mentor you offer some assistance, or perhaps not necessarily would take mindset, perhaps with a give mindset. You can do that as well. Perhaps what you can give or offer to others, and you show your interest of working together, collaborating, perhaps solving some problems. And what I'm trying to summarize with this video would be perhaps rise of technology and social media overall. There are a lot of tools how you can do that, reaching out to others, and perhaps where it used to be 6 degrees of separation, you perhaps can narrow down to perhaps 3 degrees. One being perhaps social media. From there, you might reach out to a particular person's staff, and from staff, that person might introduce you to a person that you would like to meet. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.